If you didn't make it, you missed out. The Path to Home Ownership was a great success. We had sat down with a panel of a lender, a realtor, Virginia Housing, Habitat for Humanity. It was a great event. You're gonna hear from experts, and then I'm gonna come back and tell you what this means for you so that you can get the keys to your house in 2026.
I'm in my new era. I'm better in my new era. I'm better in my new.
What are the biggest myths you hear about buying a home, and what's the truth?
Sometimes people are not educated and they will say VA loans take a long time or the appraisal process is very strict, and that's not true. The foreclosure rate on a veteran home loan is many, many times less than any other loan type, and most veterans have better credit than most people realize.
Many potential home buyers believe and have been told that to buy a house, they have to put 20% down. Waiting to save 10 or 20% down is like chasing the wind because it takes years to do. And by the time you get to the point where you've saved, if you've saved the goal, then you find out, well, the house costs more, the interest rate is higher, and they still can't capitalize on that. They still can't purchase the home. That's a myth that you have to put 10 or 20% down. It's a fool's errand. It's chasing the wind.
Your background has no bearing on a decision for a lender or a realtor to work with you. Like, we can't just single you out because you got a background. Like, I've helped numerous people from all walks of life with all kinds of different backgrounds, and they still became home buyers.
So did you catch that? What these experts are saying, but not saying directly, is this. It's not that people can't buy. They just think they can't buy. They've bought into this myth that they need more money, they need the perfect score, they need more time. And this delay is preventing them from becoming homeowners. Don't let it prevent you.
Some programs that are out there may be considered down payment assistance grants or down payment assistance programs. And I think it's important that people know the difference between a grant, which is a program that does not have to be paid back, and an actual program where there may be a silent second mortgage or a lien on that.
Interest rates are so high now, and that means payments are high, and it prevents many otherwise qualified first-time home buyers from being successful. We have two programs that help in that area. One is called the Spark program. That would lower your interest rate by 1%. The other program that we have is called the First Home Dream program. It is for generational first-time home buyers. The home buyer and the household hasn't ever owned a home, and we look back one generation to the parents of the buyers, and they cannot have owned a home in the last 3 years. There's a 2% reduction in the interest rate. So that 6% rate doesn't go down to 5, it goes down to 4.
The 3 programs that we offer, 2 of them are down payment, and one of them is a savings account called VIDA. It's the Virginia Individual Development Account. For every dollar the client puts in, our program matches $10, up to $10,000.
This is where it shifts. There are programs, there are resources, there is help, but most people don't access these programs, resources, and help because they stop before they even start. What these experts are showing you is you don't need perfect conditions, but you do need the right strategy. And we at DB Homes for Hope can help you achieve that strategy.
Your Vantage score is totally different from your mortgage score. Vantage scores are scores that pop up on like Credit Karma. The mortgage score is probably going to be 20 to 30 to 40 to maybe even 50 points lower. Your mortgage score is going to be your FICO 542. You want to write that down. Your Vantage scores are probably going to be FICO 8.
Thoughts are very dangerous. Your mind and body follow your thoughts. If you sit down with a counselor and that counselor says, all right, your credit score is 491, we got to get you to 450 or 650, you have to put you first, and you have to think, I can and I will.
Now, this part is important because a lot of people think if I just fix my credit, I'll be ready. But lenders are looking for the full picture. Do you know how to manage your money? Do you have a plan for this major responsibility? Buying a home is like the biggest expense most people will do in their entire lifetime. Are you consistent with your cash flow? They want to see these full well-roundedness. Even a person who has a 700 plus credit score, they can get denied if you don't show the full scope to the lender.
I think the best thing that a household could do would be to create a budget or a spending plan, because most people have no idea how much money they make. They don't have any idea how much they're spending. You might only have a car payment that's a reasonable amount, but you might go to Starbucks 3 times a day and spend $50 a day on coffee. The goal would be that you have enough money left over each month, even before you buy the house, where you could be setting aside a certain amount of money into your bank account, into savings.
I would say that counseling would be your first goal. A counselor is not just someone who pushes a budget sheet across from you and says, take this home, fill it out, come back in a week. They are going to be bothering you. They're going to be picking on you and telling you, what do you mean you spent $300 on other last month? What was that? When that counselor starts working with you, it's not just your budget. They're going to talk to you about income. They're going to talk to you about your choices. They're going to talk to you about what kind of programs are available and how you would get there.
Let me make this real for you. You can't say, I can't afford a home when you just don't know where the money's going. It's not always about the income. It's about awareness. Because once you gain control of your money, i.e. a budget or a spending plan, then the game starts to change. You have a strategy. You're getting bolder. And then you're ready.
I've seen many people, they have a car payment of $700 a month, or they have a husband and a wife, and they have 2 car payments that total $1,300 a month. Let me tell you, that is your house payment. I have seen so many times where somebody, a family, a couple want to buy a home, they need a home, they should be in a home, but they're driving their home around. It's on 4 wheels. Nobody can really afford to have 2 car payments that total $1,300 a month and then expect to go out and buy a house. Quite likely, it's going to impede you from being able to get on board with becoming a homeowner.
This might step on some toes, but I'm saying this with love. Some people are driving their mortgage with high car payments. It's taken away from the opportunity to have a mortgage. Some people are wearing their mortgage with lifestyle creep instead of having the money to prepare for the mortgage. Don't let that be you. Get the keys to your home. Remember, lenders are asking one question. Can you handle this responsibility? I want you to say yes.
What I tell my clients when I'm sitting in front of them, we're meeting for the first time, is you are a homeowner. And that's whether they are just coming to initially consult and they're not ready to buy or they are ready to buy. I tell them you are a homeowner. No matter how long it's going to take, we're going to get there.
Don't give up hope. You might have to work hard. You might have to become disciplined and make choices. But if you, no matter where you're starting from, you can use these resources that we've talked about up here today, and you can turn things around and you can become a homeowner.
This is my favorite part. Every expert on the panel said it is possible for you to become a homeowner. It may take some time. It may take some discipline. It may take learning some new things. And it will certainly take some strategy. But it is possible. You are not behind. You're just where you need to be. You're not disqualified. It's not too late. And you can become a homeowner in 2026. So if your goal is to buy a home in the next 6 to 24 months, let's stop guessing and let's start building a strategy. At DB Homes for Hope, we offer a 15-minute free consultation. Go to our website, DBHomes4Hope.com. Go ahead and connect with an appointment so we can get you started on your plan and your strategy.